Hi, and welcome to Episode 3 of Season 2 of A Brief History of Nothing. I am, in fact, James.
I'm Ray.
And,
Tonight, we're going to talk about renewable energy. Isn't that exciting?
Yes. I know the viewership just suddenly dropped. But,
Yes.
you know, we're kind of screwing the planet up.
Yes.
And there is only so much oil and coal in the ground.
Yes.
But also wanted to touch on nuclear power and also the various...
Solar energy,
and as
wave
well,
energy, tidal energy.
Yes. Well, one of the...
Wind energy.
Wind energy. It's a lot of hot air here. Just saying.
Yeah.
So the one of the biggest things that we can use to help us and to have a source of energy that doesn't have huge amounts of CO2, like burning coal, which is not helping the planet. I know some people don't believe that, but guys, it is. Just saying. Nuclear power is probably a big part of what we can use. And here in Australia, we have huge amounts of uranium.
Yes.
But we don't have any nuclear power plants.
We do have one.
Well, that's not really... It's a nuclear reactor for making isotopes for medical and industrial uses.
Yes,
Lucas Heights in Sydney. And if Lucas Heights...
Little.
It's a little one. It would be like a firecracker if it had a meltdown. It'd be like, is that a car backfiring? Oh no! Why are they all glowing green over there?
Yes, it's not very big.
Yeah, but the problem is there's such a lot of stigma with nuclear power.
Yeah, and that's what's kept it out of Australia.
Yeah.
Is the stigma and the fact that other people keep having oopses with their nuclear power.
Well, there's only been 2 major oopses ever.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
a
a lot
of little oopses. Well, no, you've got the Fukushima,
which happened recently, which was put in a stupid place. I mean,
what, you don't put nuclear power plants on tectonic faults?
No, particularly on tsunami-prone coastlines.
Can't see a problem with that, really.
You can't?
No.
I could see a problem. You know, like having a sudden English. It's
Try
just
English.
it's too complicated.
Gibberish is just too hard to understand.
Yeah, Google Translate can't do gibberish. Yes, they have the sudden earthquake and then have a wall of water just come at you.
Yes. I can see a couple of minor problems. But what about the American one? Was it in the 70s? What was it? Ireland. Something Ireland. Long Island, or no, wasn't that? They had one in the States.
Did they?
Yeah. And you had the world's probably most famous one, Chernobyl. Well,
that was just built stupidly, and it wasn't maintained properly.
Well, if you build a reactor for 10 rubles and you spend 2 rubles a decade maintaining it, shit is going to happen.
That's probably the strongest swear word we've ever had on this show.
Well,
we've had arse. There are slightly stronger words. Eventually we'll get round to the F word. Eventually.
Football?
Yes, football.
Oh, goodness me, don't you say that around here.
Oh, but there are other alternatives. See, the other problem with other than the waste, which is a big
lots
thing. Lots of like really nasty waste that has to be put somewhere for a very long time to wait for it not to
be nasty.
Anymore.
Fission reactors are very dirty and create just bucketloads of waste. So they're not the most efficient thing we could have.
Yeah, they're not the most efficient, but the problem with most of the uranium that comes out of the ground is a bit useless, because about 0.7 of it is actually useful for nuclear reactions. It's actually 235. The rest of it is 238, which can be turned into neptunium plutonium, which can be used. But that's other than that, other than using chemistry, it's useless, basically.
But plutonium, pretty much its only use as weapons, isn't it?
Pretty much. Or actually, a lot of spacecraft, like a a lot of Curiosity rover on Mars, and also the New Horizons.
Yeah, the one that went out for a visit to Pluto.
Yeah, the one that's been past Pluto. And look, it's Goofy, not Pluto. Can't get his Disney characters right.
Oh God, got my Disney characters mixed up.
Oh dear, it's his old age. They actually use a particular isotope of plutonium that stays hot, like its radioactivity makes it really like red hot. So basically, what they've done is put a great pile of thermocouples around. There's a bit more complicated than that, but in a nutshell, they put a pile of thermocouples around a hot piece of plutonium.
The thermocouples would be like a nutshell.
Yeah, something like that. Around a piece of hot plutonium, and that's what's generating power.
Right.
So the half-life is long enough so that New Horizons can actually get out there and do what it needs to do, and also probably start sampling interstellar space, perhaps. But we'll see.
Yeah. A couple of things I wanted to touch on with this. So you or both of us want to talk about ITER.
Yes, nuclear, the fusion
reactor that's being built in France. Yes, there seems to be the camp for and the camp against.
Well, yeah, there's people just think it's just going to be a bit of a fizzler. But the problem is with fusion is getting it started. You ever tried to push two light poles together? You're trying to push a lot of protons together.
Yeah, to make them then split apart.
Well, not really split apart, but you push them together, and because neutrons are actually lighter than protons, you push them together, one of them turns into a neutron and emits energy, and that's what... It's a bit more complicated. I don't have the time to go into all the detail and physics and...
Gritties, yeah.
But essentially, you push them together, and you have basically...
you create a mini sun.
You create a miniature sun, it's a mini star. But yeah, you push two protons together, and you get... So two hydrogen atoms together, you get
helium.
Deuterium. Right? And then you push those two together, and then you get helium out of the deal.
Yes.
And that's how that's going to work. And that's how the sun works.
Well, that's how the spaceship in Star Trek work. They work on deuterium reactors.
Do they? Well, but okay.
Well, they can do fusion. They can do the deuterium thing, but they can do it on and they can do it off.
Yeah, they can make a bomb.
Yes.
Well, it's actually...
Controlling is not a biggie. Having it like a controlled... Getting it started is difficult. Getting it to stay going is difficult. Getting it to stop is easy.
Yes. The problem was... Well, you think about Nagasaki and Hiroshima in end of World War II. The only ever two nuclear warheads ever used in battle.
Yes.
Ever. Those two... The Tsar Bomba... made those two because one was a uranium fission bomb, one was a plutonium fission bomb. The Tsar Bomba makes those look like firecrackers. In contrast, it was just
Yeah, well, they're only a few kilotons.
Yeah, only a few kilotons of TNT each. Yeah, equivalents of. But yeah, the Tsar Bomba was hundreds of megatons, I believe. I'd have to look it up again. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I'm really good. But you're wanting to talk about renewables.
Yes.
Actual renewables, not nuclear.
Yes, yes. Things like, you've got thermonuclear energy, which, if you happen to have a handy volcano or similar...
Thermonuclear?
No.
Geothermal.
Geothermal, thank you.
Yay! That's what they use in Iceland because it's a volcanic island.
Yeah, they've got... anywhere that has although in Wales quite a few years ago they were doing experiments, and I meant to follow up on that and I forgot. They were doing controlled explosions to fracture rock, so they could, and then they were pumping water down through the fractures in the rock, and then having it come back up again, and it was heated. So, but yes, I don't know how that all went. And then you've got wave energy, which looks pretty promising. There's a thing, it's a semi-submerged cylinder. It looks like a row of sausages with hinge joints in it. Now, please excuse me if I pronounce it wrong,
He's going to pronounce things wrong on the internet, which has never happened ever to anyone ever.
And where did you put it?
I don't know. I don't know where you put it, but yeah, there's basically this thing off the Orkney Islands in Scotland where they've got the... So
it sits semi-submerged in the ocean, and as the waves move it up and back, the movement forces cylinders to and fro, and those cylinders, hydraulic cylinders, force oil through turbines, which then generate electricity when it's cabled back to shore.
And it's about a megawatt, full
Yeah.
I think it's about a megawatt full out going for broke.
Well, yeah, it was connected to the grid in 2010 and is supplying power to the grid now off Orkney. So yes, it's the European Marine Energy Centre is where the Pelemis P-E-L-A-M-I-S machine is what it's called.
Pelemis machine. They were doing something similar, I think. They were going to do something similar off the coast of South Australia, but it kind of got mothballed.
Well, it kind of sunk.
Yeah.
That'll wreck you.
Yeah, that kind of wrecks the experiment. There was another one they were thinking of having paddles.
Yeah, they're going to another one works off of paddles with the ocean waves, and the movement up and down drives pistons, which pumps water at very high pressure into turbines on land, and that generates electricity. There are many. I mean, they're your simple wind turbine. They're finding wind turbines off the coast are very efficient.
The problem is that, again, it's a public perception thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with wind turbines, but there's people have this thing.
Well, I would rather see a farm of wind turbines there than cooling towers and chimneys and, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a bit, well, even, yes, again, that comes back to the nuclear. It's a bit of an eyesore to have a plant in the middle of,
Yes, yeah. What about hydrogen fuel cells?
Well, this is the thing, is another thing. Toyota have sort of been humming and hurrying on this. Tesla motor vehicles. Everyone knows about Tesla, Elon Musk and what have you. Elon Musk has basically just poo-pooed hydrogen as a fuel source. The problem is hydrogen may help because the current battery technology isn't good enough to have the range of a petrol-powered car. And so this is where you see in Australia or the United States or in Asia, it's the distances you would travel are a lot bigger than what an electric car would be able to cope with. If say you want to drive from here in Brisbane out to Sydney, or if you wanted to drive from Los Angeles to New York, electric car
LA, that's like a couple of thousand miles. Could you imagine doing that in your Prius?
Well, you could, because the Prius is hybrid.
Yeah, but they're not really designed for
long hauls. Yeah, although but the problem is that you only get about 400 kilometres out of a charge of a Tesla, and then
it's basically an overnight stop.
Yeah, it's basically an overnight stop. Yeah, pretty much.
And then another 400k. So that would take a couple of weeks to drive across country.
Yes.
They were doing better than that. Cars as inefficient as they were in the 30s were doing better than that.
Yeah, out of fossil fuels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, we've got the sort of ranges that the cars in the 20s and 30s had. Fossil fuel cars of the 20s and 30s is what we've got in electric cars now.
Well, we could revive a whole lot of ghost towns, and that way we could have...
create employment.
Create employment for people that need to stay over and charge their cars overnight.
Yes. Why not? Why not, I say.
I did see...
There's hope for Radiator Springs yet.
There is hope for Radiator Springs yet, which I'm pretty sure is a made-up town. I don't think it's actually... I'll have to Google
There's no town filled with talking cars?
No.
Oh.
No, that's make-believe.
I am surprised.
You are...
Not really. Okay.
On this day, what happened on this day?
Oh, well...
And who got born today?
Right.
Who was born, got born.
Well, we'll talk about
English,
a few lesser known people. No one's ever heard of these guys. A couple of people who wrote the odd bit of music died on this day. In 1741, Vivaldi died.
Oh, Vivaldi? Who's heard of him? I don't know who Vivaldi is.
He just wouldn't pick a season.
Oh, yeah. I've actually tried to listen to the 4 seasons start to finish. It is boring. Oh, God. I mean, I usually like classical music, but oh, my God. It's terrible.
Yeah, most people know that bit, and that's about all they know.
Yeah, then most people know the summer one and the winter one.
Yeah.
But if you played in the spring one, they'd be like, what?
What the? Who's this? Okay. 9 years later, Johann Sebastian Bach curled his toes. Everyone's sort of heard on Bach, but I just don't know where he got the Moog synthesizer.
I don't think that's quite what.
Oh, you mean switched on Bach? He didn't play that.
No.
Oh.
No. He played several minuets, as well as a lot of harpsichord pieces. He actually, interesting with Johann Sebastian Bach, he played an early piano.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just a bit of a neat thing, but never would go anywhere.
Oh, well, lucky it did go somewhere, because it gave my great-great-great-grandfather something to do when he made them.
Yeah, well, pianos, who's heard of them?
Yeah. Yes.
Except we would live in so according to Bach, we would still be playing harpsichords now.
Yes, well, do you know the difference between a harpsichord and a piano, don't you?
Well, harpsichord actually plucks the string.
Plucks the string, yes.
Whereas the piano is actually a percussion instrument, it hits the string.
Bang, yes.
And also electric pianos, like the one I've got in the corner out of shot, it actually has a switch that it actually hits. So that's how it's actually, it's sensitive, so it actually can sense how hard you're hitting the key.
Yes, yeah.
And that's why a lot of the early pianos have a bang, 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 bang sort of sound.
Yes. No. Well, what I was going to say, my great-great-grandfather, Charles Isaac Smart.
So my great-great-grandfather,
he partnered up with a Mr. Avell and produced Smart and Avell pianos in London in the late 1800s, and was subsequently bought out by Apollo pianos. But yes, so if you've got a Smart and Avell piano,
that's our
don't
ancestors'
complain
fault.
to me. It was his problem.
Yes. Yes, warranty's just run out.
Yes.
Gone.
No more warranty after 100 years. Okay. Right now, in 1909, Orville Wright. Oh,
Wright.
Oliver was his little known cousin. Orville Wright set a world record for staying aloft in an aircraft of 12 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yay!
Yes, that was exciting. Okay.
I'm sure there are paper planes that have done better these days.
Yeah, I think there has been.
There's actually the first flight that can actually fit in the fuselage of a 747.
Yes, it's shorter than the 747. So you take off the tail and land before the cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
1921, a useful thing for diabetics. Canadians Sir Frederick Banting and Charles Best isolated insulin at the University of Toronto.
Without he wouldn't be hit here.
Okay,
well, actually,
1923, the start of the construction of the world's biggest coat hanger, the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
It is often called the coat hanger by locals.
Yeah. Now, 1945, a B-25 Mitchell bomber in thick fog crashed into the Empire State Building, and the crew of the bomber, of course, were killed and a few other people injured, but interestingly enough, it didn't even interrupt the day's trade in the building. A big difference to what came many years later.
Yeah, that's obviously, that was an accident. In 2001, that was a deliberate act.
Yeah, but, I mean, I know a Mitchell bomber is a lot smaller than an airliner, but one would have thought that...
You still hear a thump, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, what the hell happened there? Oh, okay. So obviously the Empire State Building's a little stronger built than a few of the newer ones.
Yeah, well, they had to have thick walls because they were used to having squat buildings, whereas the big tall buildings, their walls are just basically just to protect from the elements. Yeah. It's the frames that hold them up.
They're meant to move, whereas the old stuff just...
Yeah, that's why that would have just crashed and... Yes. Oh, the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theorist hands are getting a bit itchy. I think we should point that out. Just
now, 1953, representatives. I'm suffering with my English again.
You've got the bad English disease from me.
Yes.
My
of the United Nations and Korea and China sign an armistice.
Armiston?
To stop hostilities. The war still hasn't officially ended. Ended. The war is still, Korean War is still on.
Yeah.
Just that they're not shooting each other as often anymore.
No. But what actually is interesting is that South Korea has put mobile phone towers right up to the border. I think China has as well, I think. I'm not sure, but I know that South Korea has, so that North Koreans might catch a bit of internet that's not like state sanctioned.
Yes.
And we can actually go, oh, this is how things really are.
Yes.
And also, if you buy Samsung products, you're essentially helping the South Korean military. So if the Kim Jong-un tries something particularly stupid, you're helping them defend themselves, essentially.
Okay. In 2002, the largest air show disaster happened.
So what happened?
An S.2 fighter crashed during the air show in
the Viv, I think, in
Ukraine, killing 85 people and injuring more than 100 others. Now,
birthdays. Who got born today?
Who got born today?
Who got born?
Beatrix Potter.
From
England?
From the Roger Rabbit. No. we give up on English. Next week's show we'll do it in Mandarin because we seem to be able to probably do that better.
Yes.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Oh God, I don't know my fictional rabbits.
Don't you hate it when you get your fictional rabbits mixed up?
Well, you got Goofy and Pluto confused earlier.
Well, I get my fictional dogs mixed up. Okay, Joey Brown, American comedian. He was born in 1892. In 1929, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was born. Albert Namatjira was born in 1902. Now, Albert Namatjira, Aboriginal painter in Australia, the first really recognised Aboriginal painter, and painted landscapes, and very well too. Now, 1947, Peter Cosgrove, former general in the Australian Army, and was the head of the ADF till retired, and current Governor General of Australia, which is the Queen's representative.
So I think Canada and New Zealand have similar, where
they have GGs as well.
Governor Generals are the Queen's representative federally, and each in province, Canada, it's the province, in Australia it's the states, have a governor, state governor.
Yeah.
Which
who,
is,
strange enough, doesn't answer to the Governor General.
They answer to the Queen, don't they?
They answer to the Queen.
Queen, yes, and also, but it's different to the state premiers.
The state governor in each state of Australia is different to a governor in an American state. A governor in an American state is an elected official, like our state premier.
Yeah.
They do the American governor and a state premier do the same job. The governor in an Australian state is actually appointed, and he oversees and he signs legislation into law.
Yeah.
Now, 1970, Paul Strang was born.
Who the F is Paul Strang?
Oh, you might have heard of his brother, Mus. No, really.
Boomtish.
Boomtish. No, Paul Strang, Zimbabwean cricketer, leg spinner. He's probably in a little category all his own when it comes to Zimbabwean Test leg spinners. So there wouldn't be too many of them. 1972, Elizabeth Berkley, actress. She was born. Saved by the Bell and Showgirls.
I remember watching Saved by the Bell when I was little.
Yes.
Now,
yes, and another one, of course, if you're in England, you'll know exactly who this person is. Shana Swash.
Who? I don't know.
Right. If you're in
I'm
England,
not English. I struggle with the English language, so.
yeah. Well, you'll know her from EastEnders, which is huge in England and around the world. But yes, she was born on this day in 1990, and that's on this day, birthdays and various other things.
Well, that's us really for this show. If you like us, subscribe and hit like and share us on various social media sites.
Give us your comments. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
Suggest science experiments too, because we didn't do one this week. So suggest science experiments this week.
Yes. Okay.
All right, that's us.
See you on the dark side.